Hello, in this video here, what we're gonna do is talk about how to start your own online coaching business in 4 actionable steps. But in case you're curious, my name is Andy Griffith. I'm actually a co-founder of Movement Formula. And just if you're wondering, because sometimes like me, it's like, where's this information coming from? Like, who is that person that's giving this information? A little bit about my background. I've actually worked as a business advisor to 100 plus locations. I've got literally over a decade of experience in the online space. And I've personally have led teams from up to 70 plus and been responsible for helping leading sales for over $10 million in various different business model types. I've even personally helped a $1 million sales coach who's a person that's generated over $1 million through a sales funnel with some of their assets and creations, and also even worked on multiple 6-figure sales funnel for another person as well to help improve their conversions and metrics. So with that, the information I'm giving you is coming from applied knowledge, right? It's not just idea knowledge, it's actually applied knowledge that you yourself can apply. And so make sure, if you're like me, a note taker, take the moment right now, get a pen, get some paper. We're gonna deliver 4 actionable steps to help you know how to start your own online coaching business. All right, cool. So the number one thing when it comes to starting an online business is realize it's all about the destination that you're taking people to, right? You know, people, what they're doing is, think of it like this. People don't buy the plane ride, they buy the beach, right? What's the destination that you're actually going to be taking people to? And what your responsibility as a coach is really understanding what the systems and processes are to deliver the results they want, right? You know, because usually what's happening is people are usually going to be moving away from pain or towards pleasure. So you got to understand, like, what is it that you're planning to serve, and which one of those is, are they trying to move away from something that's not helping them, or they're trying to move towards something that they're going to seek enjoyment out of, right? And that can help you with some of your messaging and things like that. But it's systems and processes that help create the outcomes for those that you're going to serve. So make sure you keep watching, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you on how to deliver those results a little bit later on in the video. But just number one is realize, again, it's about the destination, right? It's like when you buy a car, it's really about what the car can do. Don't get me wrong, some cars are, you know, a higher end or lower end, but at the end of the day, it's getting you from here to here. It's right. It's the result that the car gets you is what people are after, right? So number 2 is understand this. It's know who you do and do not serve, right? And I want to say this again, who you do, but also do not serve. Because if you try to help everyone, you're often going to be helping no one, okay? Because you're going way too wide. Your messaging isn't going to be specific enough for it to really resonate with people. And you're not here to serve everyone, right? And you have to realize that and kind of draw your line in that sand and realize you are here, you are called, you know, that burning passion desire is to serve a select group of people. I always like to think of like Jesus Christ, you know, with his message, he knew who he was called to serve, right? There's a certain class or individual type that he was going after. And you as a coach and the impact that you're going to make with those that you serve, who is it that you are destined to serve? Who is it that you're called to, that you're going to make that impact in their life? Because again, when you go wide, it usually doesn't really work out too well. And what's interesting, if you really look at who you're trying to serve, there's only actually 3 core markets. There is the wealth, health, and relationships. Like if you really go and look at what is it that you're wanting to do as an online coach, you're either helping people with their health, their wealth, or their relationships, right? And sometimes it's personal, and relationships could be friends and family or loved ones. You know, wealth, how to make money, how to save money, how to get out of debt, and health, obviously, you know, how do I take better care of myself, better care of my body, reduce the stress in my life? So all of those things, like no matter what you're doing, it falls into one of those 3, which is kind of interesting. And then understanding that is by understanding those markets that you're going to serve, you're going to be able to start speaking that language, right? You want to like hit the narrative that's actually going on inside of their head. That's why if you go too wide, you're not connecting with people, versus when you're very specific on who you do serve versus who you don't, you start talking to that audience and they're going to be like, I get that. I resonate with that. I can connect with that, because you're talking with the words that are actually already going on within their head. Cool, right? And so the number 3 step is, how do you deliver your results? Because oftentimes you're getting started, you're like, I don't know how to actually deliver the results, right? It might be a little bit intimidating depending where you are in your business. You know, if you're starting out or just thinking about getting started, having that confidence of like, how am I going to deliver on this, right? And so a simple way is map out a framework of the steps of what you would do. It's like reverse engineering to get someone from A to B. You know, here's the destination. What are steps and milestones that I can actually take to get them there, right? That can take them from now to where they want to be in just a few short weeks. Like think about like this in this video, right? We're talking about like step 1, knowing your destination. Step 2, understanding who you speak with. Right now we're talking about step 3, how to deliver results, right? We're breaking down a framework. So you as a coach, what are the steps to get people there? Because once you have a map, you have a plan. When you have a plan, you can guide and direct to take action in the steps in the right order to get them there, right? A lot of times with coaching, it's accountability that people are looking for, right? And you walk them through that process because let's be real, with the information age, you can probably look up anything online. I mean, let's think about it, right? Like you're watching this video right now. We're not short on information, right? What we're short on is the organized structure and manner of the information to be applied in a systematic way to get me results. That takes time versus hiring someone like you as a coach to guide them through that so they don't have to spend all those hours researching it or guessing it. They have someone who's going to mentor them and create accountability and guide them down the way. So start thinking about that is like on how to deliver results. These are your core frameworks. This is how you do your thing for people. And what it is you're building out an action plan. And usually it can take, anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks to walk them through from start to finish. Okay. And so that's how you would deliver results. Reverse engineer where a person is to where that you're going to take them. And then you can actually map the wins along the way, right? And create those milestone moments. And later on in this video, if you keep watching, I'll actually talk about how to price yourself in that. Because sometimes too, you're like, how do I charge? Like, how much should I charge for this? How much should this thing be? Is often another big factor. Is like, how do I get the results? Okay, but now how do I price myself accordingly, right? Where I'm not underpricing, but I'm also not overpricing. I want to be the strategic pricing that's going to connect so that everybody wins, right? Because that's the value when everyone wins. That's how you get raving fans, people refer you, and it creates even more momentum for your business. So step 4, kind of ties into all this. As we ascend these in these steps, it's validating your service, like actually having validation for what you do. And so how you can do that is you can find like 5 to 10 people to kind of go through like a beta process, right? Or you could call it early bird, you can call it beta, you can call it founding membership. Maybe you're doing like a monthly, whether it's like a group coaching or one-on-one, but you find just a hand selection of a few core people and you kind of let them know that, hey, this is only going to be available at this price for a select few while I work with you, because what I'm asking back for the discount being offered essentially is I want testimonials and feedback, because maybe I can tweak it a little bit, and you'll find application, like a minute in the field is worth more than an hour in a book, right? When you start applying things, you get way different results than the ideas on paper. You start on paper to get a path, and then you start to execute, and then you get feedback, right? And then you get data-driven decisions, right? So you can make smart choices on little adjustments you might need to make. And so you let them know that you're going to start, hey, this is an early bird, completely new thing for the first X. I'm going to do exclusive invites and work with you. But all I require, 1, discounting price, but 2, I need feedback from you on like, what were your biggest ahas? What were your biggest challenges going through it? And then that can help you kind of fine tune your offer so that whenever you go, I'm going to say wide, you're serving a niche market. When I say go wide, like you're announcing to the world, like, hey, everyone, this is what I do. You've got those things already worked out, but also you've got testimonials. You've got validation, right? It's not you saying you're awesome. It's other people saying you're awesome because of the experiences they had when working with you, right? And some could even be potentially doing this for free. But I do encourage, because it's like, the transformation comes from the transaction, as one of my mentors has said before. And it's like, unless someone is going to invest, sometimes they don't take it as seriously, right? But when they put money in the game and they make an investment, and it's funny, it's not money for you as a coach, it's an investment in themselves. They're making an investment in themselves. When they put money in it, they take things a little bit more seriously, right? Because you may have done this before, how many free things you've gotten that you've never done nothing with, versus when you put money in the game, you pay a little bit more attention. So I really encourage, you can do free if you want just to get a few, but it may be just a really aggressively low price thing. So at least there's been a transaction in exchange, right? Because then the transformation can take place. They have a vested interest, you have a vested interest to actually apply what it is that you're delivering to them so that they can have the results. Because without the results, nothing changes, right? And so that's kind of where you guys walk hand in hand together, but then you can use your testimonials to raise your prices and publicly validate what you do works, because you now have people that have gone through it, they've gotten wins, they've gotten the testimonials, right? And then what you can actually do is you start thinking like, how do you find those few? Is start with like, your low hanging fruit, if you will, like posting online and social media, just to get interest. You can search for hashtags and just kind of look in the space of what others are doing and kind of see if there's anyone there that you naturally connect with. Online groups, depending what spaces you're in and operate, you can start putting like soft launch offers out there to start talking with people and kind of go, hey, I'm putting together this new thing, and start those conversations with quote unquote your warm market, that people you already kind of know online and interact with. You can reach out to them. And oftentimes in the beginning, until like you have massive traffic and brand awareness, which you get there, everyone starts at zero and they grow their movement and they grow their brand, is you getting on sales calls, right? But think of them almost like a discovery call process where you are essentially validating what their problems are, if you can serve them, and what that would look like, right? Understanding them, noting what you could do to help, and then what does that look like for you to like offer them a program. And then that's where you can go like, hey, thanks for getting on the call. This is what, you've mapped it out together, talking with them. Then you go, for a limited time, for just a select few, and I'd like to extend this offer to you, based on the feedback from our call, and I think this would be a great fit for you. Here's an introductory rate. Maybe it's like half off. You can even go more aggressive than that, and letting them know that prices will be raising, but as you're building this out and based on conversations, you really want to serve them where they're at and just get that feedback from them. And that's how you grow your business. And that's where you also learn from your market, because they're telling you the problems they're facing and you're explaining to them the ways you can solve it. And you can find ways to pivot both the solution and understanding how to address their problems by having those conversations, right? And getting out there. So, to build your movement, you're going to be in front of some people. Okay. So bonus though, what we talked about is how to price your service, right? That's sometimes the elephant in the room. How much should I charge? How little should I charge, right? Is this too much? Is this too little? Think of it oftentimes, what's the value of what you have to deliver? What's that value going to be when the transition happens in their life, right? What's that change going to occur? What's the ripple effect of what they're going to get from what it is that you do? Because often people kind of want to go like the low dog game and underprice others, like, well, I'll just go lower than everyone else. But what happens is this can kind of cheapen the experience, right? Like it can, because let's be real, do you always want to buy the cheapest option out there? Depending what you're doing, you might, and oftentimes it's not always what's the cheapest option that you're going for, right? You're kind of looking for something that seems like the fairly priced option, right? And so kind of reflecting, and if you go completely free, those who don't pay usually don't pay attention. They don't take action. And even some who do, like, let's be real, as you build your online business, you will find, especially depending what services you offer, some will buy products and services from you, and then they don't even take action on it. It's crazy, but it does happen. But essentially, I always encourage, like, as you're growing, to really just go aggressively in price to start, knowing you're going to raise it and make that very known. But don't try to be the low cost leader. Try to be the value and service leader. Does that make sense? Because low cost is kind of a race to the bottom, because someone else can go lower, then someone else can lower, and then you race yourself to the bottom. Versus value and service, you can outserve some people. You can out-deliver value people without having to, quote, lower your costs. Okay. Plus, it incentivizes you to outperform and out-deliver because you charge a premium, right? Now, depending on your business are, you kind of think where you're going to price in there to start. And I always say it's always easier to raise prices. You guys follow me? It's always easier to raise prices. It's a lot harder to lower them, unless maybe the holidays, people kind of expect that Black Friday-ish type stuff. But oftentimes if you have a service and then you go lower, people that are paying here are going to be like, well, how come, like, now people get it cheaper, right? Versus you can start low knowing, hey, I'm going to raise it. Hey, I'm going to raise it. And you can just keep raising it until you see the fall off of like, okay, maybe I should now come back down. But you work your way up in pricing. And just make sure when you start to deliver those results and work with people, you're getting feedback from them. I always like to ask is, what was your biggest takeaways? What were your biggest challenges in what it is that we're doing? Because understanding the biggest takeaways, you might see a common thread of that and go, that's the thing that people are like going, aha. And then understanding their biggest challenges, that gives you feedback on maybe you need to tweak your application of what you're doing, or maybe there's more to it you need to add, which means maybe your program becomes extended because this thing can't be resolved in what you thought could be the amount of time you were allotting to work through a process. You follow me on that? Does that make sense? And as you go, realize you will make pivots. All businesses pivot some. Okay. So you're going to start with an idea, call your target, and you work towards it. But over time, you will start to pivot. Okay. Because It's almost like if you think of restaurant menus. Restaurants that have been around decades, their menu today is not the same menu it was when they first started. They've made pivots along the way. Your business will do exactly the same, but calling your shot and picking a destination when you pick your core market and start getting to work. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. You have to start building out your business, getting testimonials, and that feedback's going to help you know when to pivot and how to pivot. And so with that, if you're wanting to keep learning more and about especially just starting and running your own online coaching business, make sure you take them home. Just hit the subscribe button, right? Because we're going to be dropping a lot more videos. My partner and I will be bringing more content based around these subjects as far as starting and running your own online coaching business. So make sure you take just a moment, click subscribe. If you like this video and you thought it was of value, do me a solid. Drop a like on this. I mean, that's how I know that these are the type of videos that you all who are watching this, which thank you so much for making it this far in the video, that you all are watching it, are getting that value, because the whole idea of this is to simplify the ideas and processes to helping you build your movement as an online coach, because together we can make the world a better place. And if you want to see how we help coaches actually start and simplify their online businesses for absolutely free, you can go to our website. It's at movementformula.com. Again, that's movementformula.com. We have an all-in-one marketing suite that helps coaches get their business online without having to use the chaos of digital duct tape of online tools. You can literally run your whole entire business from one platform, and that's at movementformula.com. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time when you watch the other videos, which that card could be here, or maybe you'll hear. As we move more videos, we'll put the cards where maybe you'll see the videos popping up. So as they're there, more value. I'm not sure where they'll put it, but it'll be there. They're coming out, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.